Hello, it's the Q Crew Morning Show with Ryan and Leslie, and earlier this week we had the chance to sit down and chat with Clint Black on the phone. He's coming to Evansville, the old National Events Plaza, on March 15th, 2019, depending on when you're listening to this, and we talked about all kinds of things. We talked about what we can expect at that show on his 30th anniversary tour that this is part of. We talked about music other than country that he enjoys, and we even asked him which of the newer country acts, the artist, does he think really have what it takes to make it in this business. So, without any further ado, as they say, the one and only Clint Black. Is it Mr. Black? Can we call you Clint? I'm not sure what the protocol is here.
I prefer the moniker that George Washington turned down, which is Your High and Mightiness.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Mr. President.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we appreciate you taking some time out with us today. We know you're busy. 30 years into this thing, huh? Do you think you'd make it this long?
You know, actually 30 years was the marker that I had when, I told my band, we've got to behave ourselves and be professionals. I want to look around on the stage 30 years from now and see the same faces. So I was hoping, and, longevity, that's it. I remember Paul McCartney saying, you don't have to stay on the top. You can be in the middle. Just stay in. It was something like that. And that's all I really wanted, was to just have a life in this business. And I knew even if it was just in the clubs, that was going to be the life I chose. So that was the short answer.
You feel free to give us as long of an answer as you want. Doesn't matter to me.
Oh, thanks.
Everybody's super excited about you coming.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm excited for everyone to see the show. Anyone who's seen me in the last 10 years, we broke it down to just kind of an acoustic show, and then we added a couple of other players over the years, and but we kept it really bare bones, quote unquote, about the music. And I decided this year I was going to always make jokes about, we left the big production behind, so I had to cut out all the dance numbers and wardrobe changes. And
that's a shame.
But we're bringing a video screen out and some other little bells and whistles. I produced the stage video myself, so I really put my heart into, giving the audience the symbolism that, I think goes with the lyrics and all of that. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool, spectacular, maybe. Hopefully it's going to be really entertaining, and we're looking back, like you guys said, on 30 years. So some of it's an historical perspective. Yeah, I'm really, really, really excited for everyone to see it.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it Friday night, Old National Events Plaza here in Evansville, which tickets are still, a few tickets are still available, I do believe, at the Ticketmaster website and the Old National Events Plaza box office. Let me ask you this, because I like to ask this question when we get a chance to talk to artists. Obviously, country music you've made your entire living off of. I don't know if you want to call it a guilty pleasure, or is there something that maybe somebody would be surprised that, hey, Clint Black enjoys this particular artist or this type of genre of music?
I don't know if it would be surprising. I love classic rock. I like to try to get around and listen to other styles, and some of it I've taken to, and some of it I haven't. I've got some Benny Goodman I'll put on, and just, love to hear that bebop clarinet. And I love rock and roll, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, just about as hard as you can get it. But more of the classic rock. And I like to listen to it loud.
Well, yeah, it's the only way you can listen to it. You can't listen to it quiet.
You don't want your Led Zeppelin on the clock radio.
No, not at all. I would love to see Clint Black at an AC/DC concert, front row, with the devil horns in the air, and
wearing the black hat.
And wearing the black hat. That's right.
I have the devil horns everywhere I go, Ryan. So
we want to see those on Friday. We want to see them.
coming through the top of my hat. I did get to see Led Zeppelin in concert before John Bonham died, and I remember seeing Ted Nugent when it was Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes.
Talking with Clint Black. He'll be at the Old National Events Plaza Friday night here in Evansville. The current crop of country artists, these you want to call them up and comers, you want to call them the younger generation, the new generation, whatever you want to call them. Are there any that jump out to you where you go, this person's got something?
You know, I really thought Casey Musgraves was going to be huge back when she was just getting going. And, you know, I'd heard her sing a little and heard her records. I saw her on Austin City Limits, and I thought, this has to rise to the top. And I was so happy to see her winning the awards and getting the recognition. And from there, the list does go on. But, you know, it's like asking me just on the spot to sing one of my songs, and then I can't think of one.
I can't think of the words, yeah. Let me ask you this. You know, Brooks and Dunn are getting ready to release their new album, Reboot, where they're redoing some of their older songs, but doing them with duets with people like Luke Combs and John Party. Any thought to doing something similar along the lines with either maybe new material from you or maybe there's a dream collaboration with somebody that you enjoy right now?
You know, first of all, they should have called it Reboot, Scoot, and Boogie. And,
they should. I agree.
I'm gonna tell them.
Yes, that was a marketing error on their part, for sure.
Oops,
Scoot, and Boogie.
So I love collaborating. You know, it's one of those things that you always want it to be organic, and I don't want to sit around and think, what would I like to do? But there are a couple of artists that I've really always wanted to work with and just never kind of find the thing that either they want to do or that I think is right. But yeah, it's really great fun. And when other people, you know, bring their special approach to things, you know, Big and Rich is a great example. I had a song on my latest album on purpose called Beer. And I thought this really needs more kind of craziness, more zaniness or circus than I have. You know, that's not who I am, but it's what I want for this song. And I called John and said, you know, will you and Kenny come over? And they did. They brought their circus to town, and it was just what the song needed. And I can't imagine it without that. I do have one song on the new album I'm working on, and I really want to get a great vocal group to sing background on it. So maybe we'll see that happen. It's always tough if you're on a schedule and everyone's working. You know, the Alabama Boys come to mind, Lady Antebellum, you know, great singers. You know, I work with great background vocalists in the studio, you know, but singers who sing lead, you know, their approach is always a little different, and you always get something you didn't look for in the beginning.
What's the plans for the new album? How soon can we get that?
It's art. No, I was going to make a Spaceballs joke. It's out now. When? Just then.
Surprise!
Oh, you missed it.
Secret release.
Sorry. It's in Blockbuster, but Blockbuster's not around, so you can't get it. You know, I thought it was going to come out next year, and because I wasn't in a hurry to spend the 12, 14 hours a day in the studio, and then I started spending 12, 14 hours a day in this. I couldn't stop. So I finished the album. Now my manager wants to release it this year, so I'm kind of standing by for him.
Are we going to be able to hear any maybe a couple songs from the new album on Friday?
You know what? I'm not doing any of the new stuff yet.
Okay.
I really haven't even relearned it. You go through this long process, and I was really happy to hear there was one of my favorite rock bands where they said they had to go and learn what they had done. I thought, hey, it's not just me. So, but I do have one really, you know, what I think is a special thing, which is I've dug up two old songs that almost made it on Killin' Time and recorded them, and I never recorded them. They just kept getting pushed aside as I wrote new songs and got excited about new things. So I have two new old songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
That I want to put out this year to kind of go with this 30th anniversary.
Very nice. Well, we look forward to whenever that album comes out, and we look forward to seeing you Friday night, Old National Events Plaza here in Evansville. Clint Black, it has been a pleasure, sir. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you, Leslie. Great
Bye.
talking
Have a
to you
great
guys.
day.